Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Thursby. I am back. We are back. Box3 Motorsports is back, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're back at Imola this week for another endurance race, but I got to tell you, this is not 24 hours. I can't handle that stuff again. I don't think any of the drivers can handle that stuff again as well, as I have to now jump back out of multiplayer because the game, for some reason, just up and disconnects you whenever it wants. But we are back at Imola for a 90-minute endurance race today with Box3 Motorsports. I have been waiting for it. Last week's race was rough. I got to admit, I'm sure it was rough on the drivers. I can tell you right now, it was also rough on me. It was rough on a lot of people, but so worth it. Those 24-hour races are an absolute event. And I know we'll be doing more in the future. And we'll talk about that in just a few moments here, as I just want to get back in. The server should be bounced. We'll get in there to the free practice. And we will be ready to rock and roll for today's 90-minute endurance race at Imola. We'll get jumped in real quick. I hope everyone had a great week. I hope the drivers were able to get some rest after last week's race, because again, it was absolutely nutty. So hopefully everybody was able to get themselves some rest and come back ready to go this week as we blank things out and get ready for our starting free practice. We will get jumped right over there today, folks. Let's get ready to go. Again, we are at Imola this week. Thank you everyone so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And I know the drivers do as well. And we will be joined by some special commentators today. That's going to be a lot of fun. I was in the drivers' meeting, and luckily it was a really good drivers' meeting. I mean, again, 90-minute race. These guys know, let's back her down a little bit in the first lap, right? Keep her a little calm, let's say. And that way we will be able to have an enjoyable race for everyone. As I said, we do have ourselves a special commentator today joining us, Mr. Weltcakes. How are you, sir?
I'm doing quite well. Let me mute you over on the stream, because I was actually watching at the same time. Thanks for dragging me in here. I appreciate it, man.
No problem, man.
Thanks for letting me come along for the ride and just sit and stare at spreadsheets while you guys dazzle us with GT sports car racing around Imola.
Not a problem, man. Happy to have you here. Glad you're joining us today. Now, what you normally race with who, though?
I don't normally race.
Oh, okay.
I do commentary for 949 Sim Racing.
Perfect.
And I've been doing that for I've been doing the commentary part of that for about 2.5 years, and I've been doing things with Beltan and the guys over at 949 for about, I say the guys, it started with just like 3 of us for like almost 3 years.
Oh, no kidding. Wow. Because you guys are huge. I mean, 949 is a really big league.
We've got some people. I wouldn't necessarily say we're the biggest in the NA. We've probably been doing it almost the longest. There's kind of like some speculation over who started doing NA racing and ACC first.
Yeah.
But I really don't care about that. The main reason why we started 949 and the main reason why we wanted to get into ACC in particular is we wanted more North American sim racing. ACC is a wonderful sports car simulator, and it was new and fresh and everybody loved it, so we were like, we're gonna do this. So we started started off just doing broadcasting of open lobbies. Like Beltan would drive around, people would join lobbies, I would do casting over the top of it, and then people were like, when are you gonna do a league? And we were like, oh, we don't want to do a league. but then we finally gave in, and that was about 2.5 years ago, and the rest has been a magical time that I feel very privileged to be a part of.
Excellent. That's awesome. I'll be honest, I can understand not wanting to do a league.
Oh yeah, it's tricky,
right?
But at the same time, it is. It's tricky, but the thing is, and I think you guys can kind of echo this over at Box 3, because one of the things I've heard you and Huff talk about is the fact that you guys are community centric, community first. So when we decided we were going to do the league thing, we were like, okay, we'll do it. But at the same time too, like it's about growing the community. It's about bringing people together that otherwise would be kind of like searching around trying to find good quality sim racing on the internet. And that's kind of been our motto ever since.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that because, yeah, we are. I mean, we talked about it last week during the 24-hour, and I actually just found something yesterday that I'm going to talk to these guys a little bit. Someone posted it to Reddit, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. This, now, I believe, and again, I haven't talked to these guys yet, but I believe, you know, the gentleman who started this has a league of his own. He does, you know, they run a league much like you do and we do over at Box 3. But they created a website, racingstronger.com, and it's all about using sim racing for mental health, right? And you know, things like, I just think that's fantastic that we can take this hobby that we all love. And again, much like yourself, I don't really race, right? Like I raced yesterday in the iRacing League because I wanted to jump in with those guys, but I don't really race. I commentate, and I found my niche within this community of people. And I think something like that is absolutely fantastic that this group has come together. So again, I want to talk about them more in the future once I've talked to them and learned a little more about it. But I think things like that are just fantastic within this hobby. I think it's really great to see.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. The other part, it not only like, it really kind of, it's been fantastic in North America in particular, ACC even more so, that a lot of these North American communities have been coming together to not only enjoy the hobby, but also share ideas and share not only our passion for our hobbies, but our passions for things that you know, influence one another in many different ways. And a lot of that wouldn't have been possible if you know, everybody were still just kind of like just trolling around open lobbies trying to find good quality racing, or having to get up, you know, at the crack of dawn to go race in a European league because that's the only thing that's available. So the fact that we have all kind of like in our own individual worlds, like started to build up our communities, and even with the stuff we've been doing with you guys and with Trackalicious in particular, has started to cause this convergence that is, it's bringing a lot of people together that otherwise, like most of the people in Box 3, like there's a lot of them I didn't even know like at all until I started working with you guys and started working with Eric, with the Trackalicious folks, same thing over there. So this convergence is really causing a lot of momentum, and that momentum is starting to result in all sorts of wonderful things. Like you guys are, we're doing the 6 hours series with you guys. We've been doing the beer league. All this stuff is just fantastic because it increases numbers, which leagues are often fighting to maintain. But at the same time too, it's bringing really good quality people together, and that's just great.
That's what I enjoy, right? Is good people coming together. Because look, let's face it, end of the day, we're driving pretend cars in pretend hardware, right? Nobody's losing any money if they lose a race. No one's losing anything if they're involved in an incident. No one's getting hurt. None of those things, right? Nobody has to worry about their wheelbase bursting into flames. I don't think, right? Or at least rare enough that, you know, we never hear about it. And I guess that's why, you know, at Box 3, and that's why I enjoy talking to you guys at 949 and the guys over at Trackalicious, because it's about, you know what, first we're going to build the community, and we want all the drivers to be competitive. We want everyone to strive to be as fast and as good of a driver as they can be. But first and foremost, you have to recognize this is a community. You don't get to come back to the Discord after a race and yell at somebody, right? You can have a conversation about it. You can say, hey dude, you screwed up, and he can say, you know what, you're right, I totally botched it. Like, but this isn't what I want to say. I hate to make the comparison, but this isn't Reddit, right? Those guys just go hammer each other a lot of times. I mean, I read a post today where a guy apologized saying, listen, that was totally on me, and I made the mistake. I was in this race. I'm the one you saw in the clip, and I apologize. This is what happened. And the other person involved was like, hey, don't worry about it, dude. We all have those issues. But there were like 4 or 5 other people going, you're an idiot. And just like, why? He came in and apologized, man. Like, cut that kid some slack. And that's what I love about the league racing that we do, that you guys, and again, that 949 does, and that Trackalicious does as well. And I should mention, I'm going to interject real quick because he snuck in and he's muted, so he may not even talk right now, but Chief Blaze is joining us this afternoon as well. We got all kinds of commentators in the booth this afternoon.
That's awesome.
Chief, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says. Quiet boy. Well, speaking of which, I'm going to take a cue from Whelpcakes. And Whelpcakes, is there something else I should call you while we're on stream?
Now, you can call me Whelpcakes. You can call me Philip.
Philip? Perfect.
Whatever.
I like names. I use my name on stream. So, Philip, again, I want to welcome you and thanks for being here. But take a note from you. Let's jump over real quick. Take a look while this free practice finishes out and qualification gets started. As you said, 6-hour endurance series coming this summer, starts May 14th in Barcelona. Now, I'm unsure. I think it's Shy Guy in our chat who will be covering the Barcelona and the Zandvoort races. And he's for you guys, 949 is where that will be covered?
He's done some commentary with us over at 949. He's also been doing some commentary with Trackalicious.
Okay.
So whether or not it ends up being one or the other, whatever ends up happening, we'll figure it out. But Shy Guy is an awesome commentator, and I'm excited to see him commentate a 6-hour race.
Nope, that's awesome. And I know for at least for the Box 3 channel, you'll still be able to watch them through us because we auto host you guys you and Trackalicious, we auto host every time you guys do a broadcast as well. So should work out really well. Hungaroring you'll be able to watch right here at Box 3, and by my special request, Mount Panorama, because I love that circuit and I really want to watch these guys go deep on it. So
it's gonna be fun. The mountain's gonna be a blast.
Fun. Yeah, I love the mountain. I love watching these drivers hang around. So again, there's that schedule for the 6-hour endurance series. Also, as you mentioned, the Beer Cup every Tuesday night. We got 2 more races in that. Zandvoort is this week and Spa next week. Now those aren't broadcast as far as I know, or does somebody host those?
I usually do my point of view stream because the moment you guys said you were going to do like a league with M2s, I had to like immediately sign up because I love racing the M2.
You know what? I've driven it about 2 or 3 times. That's all I've done with it. I like it. But then again, I'm an iRacing guy. You know, I got turned on over to iRacing. And Trackalicious in chat says they have been commentating them. So if you want to watch the Beer League, head over to Trackalicious channel. I will get you a link here. I will dump a link into the chat because Trackalicious won't be able to. So if everybody give me a second, I will jump on that. But the point being is you can go watch the Beer League. And the Beer League's just fun, right? Casual racing.
Absolutely.
Not a bunch of hoo-ha. I mean, people are basically going in there to have a lot of fun, which is what it should be, right?
I mean, I'm being sweaty in it, but that's mainly just because I'm using this as an opportunity to get back into doing some sim racing myself. I know you've said it. You don't get to race a lot, or because you enjoy doing this commentary stuff. So any opportunity I can get, probably like yourself, to get in the car, race with other people, have fun, snap that opportunity up the moment it happens, and
Nope, and that is what it is, right? It's about jumping in there and having fun when you can, because again, you and I kind of in a different position as far as where we fit in into the league and into everything else. And those, you know, those things are important, but we want to drive too sometimes. So.
Yes.
There you go. That's where you guys can find Trackalicious. Go over and watch the Beer League each and every week. Chief, you been staying out of trouble today?
Yeah, man.
Not used to not talkative Chief, Philip, if I'm being honest.
Sorry.
He's very quiet today.
It's been a rough day, but I'm here for the day to be better.
Rock on, man. You know something I always look at that somebody said to me once, and it has stuck with me? Did you have a bad day? Or did you have a bad 15 minutes that you milked all day? Right?
Right. Yep.
So,
yep.
I don't know. You and I have talked, but I don't know if you've had a whole bad day or if you've had a little bit of a bad day, but I hope it gets better for you no matter what.
Well, I was debating racing, but everyone did the 24 hours last week, so I was at a severe disadvantage. So I was out on that one.
You're not wrong. These drivers have had a lot of practice. No qual times coming in yet. Still 17 minutes left to go before we get this race kicked off, and we will see what happens. But King McGee was the first one in the server, so currently shown at the top of our list. as we wait for those times to come in. And I will take a quick minute to just let everybody know, again, we're at Imola today. Next week, May 1st, we are back for the Hungaroring, a sprint race. That'll be two 20-minute races with a 10-minute qualification in between. No pit stop required, so a little bit speedier racing next week as we roll towards the end of season 2 PCACC. And speaking of the beer cup, on Monday nights, our Euro trip continues. Zandvoort this week, April 25th, 7 p.m. UTC at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that season will finish with Silverstone as well. And I love to mention these guys because our league has grown a lot. And one of the things that has continued to grow is the Xbox side. Many of us have left it. I was an Xbox racer. Chief, you were an Xbox racer. We've, you know, so a lot of us, Red Rider, one of our admins, he was an Xbox racer. A lot of us have moved over to the PC side, but our Xbox league continues strong. And again, those guys are back next week, April 30th at Olton Park at 7 p.m. UTC, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're out there wondering, can I drive with, can I drive with Box3 or, yeah, you can. If you're a console driver, we have that as well. So, and we just yesterday had our first iRacing league race, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's the casual MX5s, right?
Yeah,
you guys are running?
We're just doing a casual MX5 3-week series, just to throw it together and kind of get started with iRacing. It was all, current league members. We didn't attract anybody new, but we also didn't really put it out there. We wanted to see. I think we had 6 drivers on track, which is not a lot, but we were at Sabuka, and it was honestly a lot of fun. I had a great battle going with Remco Ottens, who is on track today in ACC. We had a great battle going until he got taken out by someone else. So it was unfortunate, but that's kind of where I'm going to lean towards my, lean my driving. And Will Green and I are already working to put together the next season. I think it's still going to be MX5s. It's still going to be how to, I was reading your comment. It's still going to be MX5s, and it's going to be tracks that you don't have to make a purchase for, right? And I think it's going to be an absolute blast. We're only going to run 5 or 6 weeks for season 1 in the MX5, but I think it's going to be great.
Oh yeah, that stuff is great. We did a little bit of that with the Tracklicious guys, as kind of like the same time we were running our previous season of the GT Sprint Series, and that was a lot of fun. Awesome.
Now, do you guys, when you're talking iRacing, do you guys typically run, I don't know, the lower tier stuff, or have you been bumping up into the higher class races?
Oh, we've been doing the MX5s with free track content, and then every now and then also the guys would sprinkle in some nonsense races like like free content. What is it? Dirt stock modified or whatever it is.
Yeah. The UMP modifieds.
Yeah, just stuff like that, just sprinkled in there so that people can have some fun and get different experiences and stuff like that. And to your point about the numbers and stuff like that, it's tough to, especially to break into the league side in iRacing, because the back end server support for iRacing is so good that you can just get that race that you want in that format that you want on demand sometimes. But yeah, it's just it's tough to build leagues in iRacing for sure. But it's cool that you guys are doing it.
Yeah, and we just want to expand, and a lot of us have moved towards iRacing. Again, I think a lot of people look at it and say, well, it's so expensive. It is. It can be.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If you're only interested in GT3, absolutely stick with ACC. iRacing is going to bring nothing to the table for you if you are strictly a GT3 racer. However, if you like doing a lot of different things. Yeah, and to Chief's point, ovals, right? Like, Chief is a huge oval racing fan.
I forgot how to turn right.
Yeah, he doesn't even want to drive with us anymore on roads.
No.
Where myself, I can't get into oval. It's not my bag, right? I can't just drive in a circle and find that exciting.
You're not cultured enough yet.
I know, I get it. It's fine. But different strokes for different folks. And that was kind of, I mean, you kind of led me to my point, Chief, of that's what's great about iRacing is if you want to find something different than just F1 or just GT3, iRacing exists. And again, to the cost point that people make, I would say this. And again, this is something I was told years ago, and it stuck with me, and it kind of applies to iRacing, but I'll use a different example. There are a ton of people, myself included, who absolutely love Train Simulator, right? You can pick it up on Steam. Train Simulator is a lot of fun. You get it on sale all the time. If you wanted to buy all the DLC for Train Simulator, it would cost you roughly $6,500. Okay? Everybody looks at it and goes, oh my God. But can you buy a train and lay a train track for $6,500? If you're really into that, can you do that? You can, right? Nobody's going to give you, not for $6,500 are you ever going to be able to do that, even if you already had all the land to be able to do it. To me, it's kind of the same thing with iRacing. I get to go drive all these different cars because I'm never going to own them all. No one's ever going to let me on a racetrack with them. And now in iRacing, I can go do it. And it maybe cost me a couple grand over the lifetime of my hobby. I don't think that's that bad.
Yeah, it's really not. Go ahead, Chief.
And you can focus on what you want to, like, I don't really want to drive roads, so I don't buy road cars and road courses. I just buy the oval stuff. And, if you know what you want to drive, it can be cheaper. I think, like, you don't have to buy all the content, like, so there's ways to make it work for you. And if you do want to buy everything, then, like, that's part of the fun too. You can drive a rally car all the way up to a, LMP2. So it's, yeah.
A lot of fun though. Those little Mazda 5s are a ton of fun.
One thing that I often recommend to people when they're getting into iRacing is using the iRacing week planner in conjunction with like whatever format you're interested in. Because with that tool, and if anybody wants, they can just DM Whelp Cakes on Box3 for a link. I'll share it. But with that site, you pick a format, you pick what tracks you already own, and then you can scroll through all 13 weeks of a series to find out what tracks you're missing. And you can target making those like 3-track purchases so that you can get the discount. Mm-hmm. That's how I slowly built all of my content in iRacing. I just would pick like a series. I would race that for a season. I might buy 1 or 2 tracks. And then before the year was out, I had, like another 8 tracks to add to what I already had. So, I mean, to me, I feel like that's the better way to go about spending your money. Because if you just open your wallet, like the iRacing folks will surely empty it for you.
Yes, they will. Yeah, you have to target what you want, right? Again, to Chief's point, and to yours, I mean, Chief buys a bunch of oval stuff. And what I love about it too is with the quote unquote modern world, it used to be if you wanted to talk to people, you kind of had to be in the same race, or you had to be on the same, you both had to be doing the same thing. Now, if you just toss Discord in, Chief and I'll get together in a VC and just shoot shit for the evening, and we're both doing our own thing, right? And maybe we're not on track together. You could say, you lose a little bit of fun there because you're not racing with your friends. But to be honest, iRacing won't put you together with your friends anyway. We found it just won't allow us to end up in the same split. I don't know why, but whatever. We're still having fun and engaging with the community and with our league members or our friends. You know what I mean? So it works out well.
Indeed.
These boys are breaking it down low this week, though. Yannick Kurtz right now, currently sitting pole position, just over 8 minutes left to go in qual with a 141.5. Our next closest, Lee King McGee, 141.692. It's only two 141s so far, but the 142s go deep all the way down to P10. That's a close race up front, isn't it?
It is. I definitely am digging just the spread across what is the top 10 right now. It's like, don't get me wrong. I mean, 42.8 is not the same thing as a 41.5, but at the same time too, you're still in touch. Like you're not like Yannick or Lee King have get a little too spicy into Tamburello, and all of a sudden you've got 8 other cars bearing down on you.
Yeah. I like it when they keep it close. And I'm sure they're, given 90 minutes today, we're going to see some spread. Wilson Fernandez right now, he was about 0.3 up on his fastest.
I'm looking at the data for what you guys have set up for today. You got 34 cars on Imola. That is going to be pretty exciting GT racing. just enough to where you guys are going to have to double up some boxes, but that's still going to be pretty fun. I mean, I love Imola. It's a track that I feel like for a power circuit, the field can get pretty spread out on, but at the same time, sections like Tamburello, well, all of Sector 1 is magnificent, and then you've got the final chicane can definitely make for some good close racing.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I really enjoy these. As much as I love Bathurst, as much as I love Spa, to drive, right? When I'm sitting back here and I'm watching, I love these shorter tracks, right? Not the 2 minutes, not the 2 minutes, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it is. The minute 40s, the minute 50, you know, that bring it down, because I think it gives us so much more closer racing throughout the entirety of the race. It's not just, well, one guy got to run away with it. No, because you know what? The track's not that long. And the times these guys are running, they're going to stick close together.
Yeah, I feel like Lee King has got definitely got his sights on Yannick. But the thing that I'm very interested in, I mean, if you just look at the timing data between P3 and what is that, P5, are all within a tenth of one another. Exactly. It is, and then again, it's only 0.8 from the leader back to almost P10. So it's like, it's really good. It's going to be some good close racing around here. Again, that's why I like Imola. It's definitely a good track for an audience, in my opinion.
Yeah, and no matter what, I think we're going to have close racing today the whole time, because if we step back through, even when we hit the, you know, we got to go now all the way to P13 to hit the 143 mark. But that 143 mark, so we talk about that 1 second delta, right? That 143 mark runs from P13 all the way down to P22. 12 drivers that are going to be relatively close to each other this entire time. And again, all it takes is that one slip, and the next thing you know, we've got action on track.
So with the endurance format that you guys have on offer today, I know a mandatory pit's involved, 90-minute race, if I'm correct. When does the pit window actually open up?
There is no window to my knowledge. It's wide open the whole time.
Fantastic. So people that really want to risk it for the biscuit and try and run that long run strat, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
The steadfast, as we used to call it.
The steadfast. Yeah, that's right. The steadfast. Christoph Art's right now 2/10 up on his fastest. We'll see if he can hold on to it through this lap.
I'm seeing some faces I've seen in other series before. That's awesome. So I'm still getting used to identifying all the Box 3 names. So it's taken some getting used to, learning a whole new set of drivers and car and team combinations, but it's a lot of fun, and it's really awesome to get to experience this kind of like as an observer from a commentator perspective for a completely different league than I'm used to. Because you guys don't run at Thursdays at 7 when I do. Yep. But the thing is that getting to experience a different time slot, different people, still NA focused, it's just awesome.
It is, and you know, if you want that experience, run yourself a 24, because you want to have people show up.
Yeah.
Christoph Art's about to jump up here a little bit, a half second if he can hold on to it, and there he goes, P3, jumping from P6 up to P3 just like that. Half second run on his latest lap. George Garton as well, running a little ahead right now, about 2/10. And these guys are going to continue to jockey for position. Just over 3 minutes left in qualifying. It always amazes me the position changes we see from the start of qualifying to the end. As they continue to stay out there and push.
Yeah, the track's rubbering in. I mean, you guys have a lot of cars out on track, so it's going to rubber in quite nicely. And just watching right now is Wilson Fernandez on my relative coming across the line. Looks like, I thought he had 3/10. I thought he had enough to cash in and jump up the order. Actually did, jumped up to P5, so that's a good result for him.
Keeping an eye on George Garton right now to see if he gets anything, but he's about flat now as he finishes out. Got a little bit of lost a lot of time in that final corner to put himself flat again for this lap, so he's going to hold on to P6.
And that 41.5 just holding strong.
Will Green's a little up. Eye on him through this lap. I don't know if 1/10 is going to be enough to move him, especially with Moses a little quicker on his. But there we go. Will Green jumping up to P8 with that lap.
I'm looking right now, and of the front runners, I'd say out of the top 5, you've only got 3 out on track, including the person with provisional pole. So I don't think Lee King or Christoph are going to be able to get back out, get around to start another lap to try and take it to
They have
Yannick.
that flying lap, not with 1:34 left. I think they're going to end up staying in the pits for the rest of this, but especially looking at Yannick Kurtz now, almost 3/10 up on his fastest right now. We're going to see that. We may see that come down right here. A little bit of time lost through there.
Yeah. Looks like a sketch entrance on Ravazza 1 right before the penultimate corner, and that just cost him.
Yep. But right there, Kurtz now setting in the new fastest with a 1:41.470.
Even after taking such a sketchy line through Ravazza. Just enough grass to make it look nasty, but not enough off track to actually invalidate the lap.
Yep. Take a check on Anderson as well, currently sitting P11, but up about 3/10. Old grass a little bit quicker on this lap as well. We're going to start winding down here to our final laps. Tobias Gable currently sitting 17th, but 7/10 up on his fastest. We'll see if he's able to tighten it up a little bit as well. Kurtz continues to run. Kurtz, even with P2 and 3 provisional, sitting in the pits. Kurtz not happy. Wants to tighten that lap down a little more, and currently sitting up at 10th.
He's like, he's chasing the 40. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's chasing the 4-0. Looking at deltas as well. The only person right now that I feel like is going to upset the apple cart by at least 1 space, maybe 2 if he's lucky, is Anderson, who's going into Ravazza right now. He's trying to cash in. You know, he's got like 2/10. Might be able to jump Moses.
Now.
Yeah.
May get himself into the top 10 here. Take a look as he comes across the line. And yeah, Anderson jumps up to P10, pushing Chris Moses down 1 spot as we roll into the end of qualification and get ready for today's race. Yannick Kurtz still out on track. Unable to beat that fastest time, though, of a 1:41.470. It's awful quick.
Interesting looking right now. Fernandez is on a flyer.
Yeah, he is. Just jumped over to him. We'll see Will Green right in front of him. Currently P8. Greeny a little bit quicker as well, but not, I don't know, enough. We'll see if he can get ahead of Tom Foose. But I'm pretty sure Fernandez wants him out of the way right now so he can concentrate on finishing out this lap.
Battery, he wants a nice toe.
Right? Give me a pull across the line. Will Green going to finish about flat on his fastest. Will end up holding on to P8, but Fernandez right there up into 3rd, just like that.
That's a cash in right there. That is
at the end of qualifying, so.
Man, I'm loving this. A half second between the top 5.
I know. This is what we get every time, I think.
There's a second between the top 11.
It is constant that we see these tight times up front from these guys. I don't know how we got so many fast drivers at Box 3. And I know we're not the only ones with fast drivers, but my goodness. So there you have it.
Quality people in the North American sphere, man. We've got them all over.
Right? So Yannick Kurtz will hold pole position today with a 1:41.470. He's going to share row 1 with Lee King McGee. Wilson Fernandez and Christoph Arts in row 2. Justine Scheffer. George Garton going to share row 3 with Tom Foose, Will Green in row 4, and Colgrass and Anthony Anderson in row 5. That's your top 10 going into today's race. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I love these shorter tracks. I think we're going to have a lot of fun today for 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think Imola's a good circuit for a field this big, and it's just really good quality for GT3 racing in general. The track itself has a little bit of everything, and with the variation in like curbs and their structure and like how they're laid out, curb compliance is kind of one of those things where if you've got one of those cars that can send it over the last chicane, it's nice, but at the same time too, it can be deceptive. You go into Tamburello thinking you can just eat a little bit more curb than usual, and you end up in the kitty litter.
Well, and I'll tell you, that sharp chicane coming up the hill.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now I'm an Audi driver. You don't eat that curb in the Audi.
No, you don't.
It's not happening.
Not unless you want to do a kickflip.
Yeah, no, you just don't do it.
See, I was a Bentley driver, so I love this track because you just eat all the curbs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so many of these cars can just destroy the curbs. Doesn't matter. They run over them. They're set. Once you pick an Audi because you like it, you're sitting back there going, every track guide says eat all the curb. Every time I eat all the curb, I end up eating the wall at the same time. Like, there's no middle ground there. But now I will say the new Evo 2, the new Audi that they just released, you can absolutely, as TG says in our chat, you can absolutely tear through those curbs through the chicane.
Yeah. It is one of those tracks, and you know, no spoilers, but we kind of like saw it today in Formula One. It's like depending on how you know your car and how you handle curb compliance around a track like Imola will determine whether or not you spin. So definitely use wise judgment in what curbs you attack. I get floored every time I see people pushing it way too hard on the exit of the Villeneuve chicane right before the hairpin. It is fascinating how many people think they can that those sausage curbs, those don't look too high, and then they hit it and they just end up shooting straight off the track into the kitty litter.
But it's fun to watch, though, right?
Yeah.
It makes it exciting for us. I know they hate it, but it makes it exciting for us.
Oh, yeah.
Again, Yannick Kurtz, King McGee going to share row one. So we got a BMW and a Bentley up front. I don't think we've seen a Bentley up front for quite a while. And again, McGee, a very fast driver in box 3, but I don't think we've seen him up front for quite a while. But I do wonder if any changes have been made recently, because we got a lot of Beamers up front today. A lot. Our entire top 7, except for one Bentley, is all BMWs.
BMW is really strong around Imola. I saw it when I was looking at stuff related to, I believe it was the SimGrid Enduro opener. You can take a lot of the corners around here in the BMW, and it is it's a very stable car that is also quick around here. So watching these Beamers going through Aqua Minerale, the downhill double right-hander before you go up the hill to the final chicane, like that is going to be, it's going to be interesting because you can watch some of the faster drivers that know how to handle that car. They're just going to hold like a 30% lock on the wheel and just take the whole curve, not even think about it. So it's just going to be interesting because it's a very good car for this track in particular.
Again, though, I gotta say, I'm surprised. I don't think we've seen a Beamer up front this season. So to have King McGee in row 1 is impressive. He's obviously laying down good times here. We've got a few Porsches on track today. Will Green in his Mercedes, of course.
So I'm looking at the field in terms of like the manufacturer distribution, and you're right with the BMWs holding a majority of the field, but Will Green getting up in there with that AMG Evo, that is definitely impressive, and it is a good car for this track from a power perspective. It's another one of those cars that I feel like curb compliance can catch you out if you're not careful. But we'll see. And Anderson getting a Lexus up into the top 10. I know Huff's heart will sing when I say this, but man, I'm glad to see that. I love the Lexus. It's my favorite car in this game.
And I'm just taking a look right now, Cole Gress, with that combination Red Bull and what looks to be an Apple IIe computer livery. That is just awesome. I mean, these guys put some really good liveries together, but I gotta say, that is pretty fancy right there. I enjoy that a lot.
I love it. Another one of those things about the NA community that's fantastic. We've got people with this like creative streak that come up with these amazing liveries.
Oh yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh no, not me. Don't give me a pencil and a piece of paper and expect anything.
That's the best part about being a commentator, right? If you're commentating and you're streaming the races, everybody sends you their liveries.
Yeah.
So when I'm offline, I'll race whatever I want. Now, obviously, I'm missing Adam Thomas's livery here today, as he is in a flat black Audi. So that's one I'm definitely missing. He must have changed up at some point. But these guys put together so many great liveries as we get to watch them come around the track. And everybody says, we're here for the race, we're here for the race. Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of work that goes into these liveries. And I think calling them out, I think, is important.
And before we get to the start of the race, I just wanted to call out on the warm-up lap, just watching Yannick go around, and I'm watching him actually attacking the curbs in the Beamer on sections like the final chicane at Variante Alta. And I got to wonder, how is that going to help your tire pressures as you're trying to get them in the window before you start the race? Doing curb strikes when your tires are cold, that's a good way to just not gain pressure at all. So I'm wondering if that's going to bite him as they get ready to go into turn 1.
We are ready for double file. Kurt's very fast, though. Did a great job during last week's 24 hours that we had here at Imola with his teammates. Those guys gained a lot of positions before our server crash, unfortunately. I was so upset, but... Lateral G in the chat says that Bentley is so gosh darn British. It is. Very British. But Lee King McGee drives it well. Jump up here, ready for the race start. And there we go. The engine's hammered down. We are green flagged for the next 90 minutes at Imola. Head down into T1. Things are going to get crazy. Colgress already picking up position along with Christoph Arts. Andrew Haynes in the back. Very clean through turn 1. But our front runners right now, very tight. King McGee able to get the jump on Yannick Kurtz, now leading this race. Christoph Arts right there as well. These are some of our fastest drivers at Box 3, and now they're going to go toe-to-toe. King McGee leads the path uphill.
So a really good start from McGee. And now with the Bentley being in front, you got a car just like the BMW that can really attack the curbs around here. So it's going to make it really hard for Kurtz to pass.
Now, here's my question for you, because, again, I'm the type of guy that sits there and watches these races and I say, car goes vroom. Okay? That's all I know. Push the pedal, it goes. And if you push the other pedal, it slows down. When it comes to this Bentley, my understanding is Bentley's got awesome straight line speed. Is there enough straight line on this track to have that become an advantage? Or, I mean, Kurtz is already tucked up under him now. So we're seeing him look to the swing to the inside, but obviously not going to happen yet. But does that Bentley have enough of that straight line pull that he's going to be able to run it out?
I think so. I think depending on what Kurtz did in terms of handling the aero of the car, he might have been running a high drag, high downforce track, because when you think about the exits of like Sector 1 into Sector 2 and stuff like that, downforce is your friend, but at the same time, BMW is a car that's pretty quick around here in a straight line as well. It's not the fastest, but it's definitely quick. And you could see that start-finish straight out of Ravaza into Tamburello, it's long. It is a very long straight. Yeah. So folks like the Lexus, like Anderson's got the straight line grunt, they're going to see an advantage here. The part where I expect the BMW to really catch up on the back of the Bentley is out of the exit of this Tosa hairpin and into Sector 2.
Well, right now, Anthony Anderson's struggling. Little bump with Daniel Pickett, and a lot of drivers able to get around. So Anderson now dropped to P15.
Oof.
Yeah, struggling. Just now running side by side with Ottens. Ottens with the inside line. Not quite there, though. Anderson's going to hold on for now. Lost, I think he dropped about 6 or 7 spots there going off into the dirt. Pickett able to pull ahead of him.
And once Pickett got by that group of cars, he got out pretty quickly to a second lead. So.
Wilson Fernandez moving up into P4 around Justin Scheffer.
Oh. Ottens who went wide.
We are coming through the chicane rough back here. DJ and Blanchett bumping doors. Retro Coffin able to sneak through. and get ahead of both those guys. So far today, I mean, I've seen some door bumping, but not, some door banging, but not a ton of real incidents.
Nothing race ruining.
Nothing crazy yet.
Only retirement that I can see right now is Gerald Butts in the number 17 in the pits right now, and has a lot of damage on the 17 over 30 Clan.
Oh, no, okay. Yep, sitting in the pits.
Yep, the Lexus took a wallop. The front end is crushed in pretty badly.
Justin Scheffer now fighting off George Garton. And right behind him, Tom Foose and Will Green. Again, two very fast drivers. Will has grabbed pole and the win the last 2 weeks in our standard PC ACC league, along with Euro Cup. Very patient.
Tony Green is fighting with Santos right now.
Is he back there?
Yeah.
Scrolling down my list, wondering where Tony is. There he is. Yep, Rogerio Santos applying pressure from behind. And Dave Gregory off track, losing 5 positions. And Santos able to get around on the inside of green. And again, another door bang. Santos going to cut the corner. Green having to go wide. Looks like he's going to lose another position as well. Able to get it back on track and hold on there. But now having to deal with Kevin Silvares. Justine Scheffer gets ahead of George Garton. We'll see if that can last.
He's trying to fight back. Trying to pick a side to get around. Doesn't work out.
But again, very close racing. Now Garton under pressure as well from Tom Foose and Will Green right behind him.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of pressure that's built up behind Scheffer. A little bit of space between Scheffer and Fernandez in front, but there's 4 runners just kind of like slammed in a fight for P5. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out.
And Andrew Haynes off track now, losing about 5 positions. Looks like he's going to have to head into the pits as well. So again, I mean, overall, for the start of a race, and I'm just trying to jump around here a little bit. Right now, Tom Foose continues to fight off Will Green. Now, Will is a very, very patient driver. Very patient.
Is Tom in the M6? Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen one of those in a minute.
I think Tom's been driving that M6 through season 1 and 2. Yeah, he has not moved to that M4. He has decided that M6 is his thing.
Dedicated.
Very much so.
Driving a car with that long of a front end, it's almost like the front end of your car gets to experience the race like the day before you do. I mean, that thing's almost got a curve of the earth type feel trying to look over the dash.
Retro Coffin now fighting off Wangle Snatcher, and DJ's right there to try and capitalize. Got a bit of a Porsche Merc battle back here. Wangle Snatcher shooting out wide. And again, Andrew Haynes, I believe, probably diving into the pits at this point. Wangle Snatcher squeezing ahead and has the inside line into T1.
And Kurtz is getting pretty close to McGee here, but doesn't look like he's too anxious to make a move. Just
not yet.
Behind,
So Wangle Snatcher able to pick up P19 from Retro Coffin, and now DJ gonna do the same in that very fancy Box 3 Porsche. Rob Keesar now fending off Stuart Pryor and John Gray. Again, another Porsche. We can't go anywhere without picking up a Porsche battle right now.
That sounds like an ACC league. I feel for anybody that like takes to that car and says, this is the car for me. Because every time I drive it, it just wants to mug me in every corner I go through.
Wants to beat you down, does it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like when I go into the corner, do I come out alive?
I've never driven it myself, but I can sit and say that I have heard the phrase Porsche doing Porsche things more than once.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have a disqualification too with Haynes for speeding in the pit lane.
Ooh, and that's more common at Imola than you might think. That
Oh no, it's not. No, I think it's exactly as common as you think it is, because I watched it happen last week during the 24 over and over. Over again.
You got the saying absolutely correct. It happens all the time. Between that and people getting too anxious when leaving the pits, just man, it's rough. But that pit entry in particular, you have to practice it at Imola. It coming out of Ravazza 2, you get to the line a lot faster than you think.
Yep.
Got to shut her down fast, and we're looking here up front. Now a 4.6 second gap back to Christoph Arts in P3, but King McGee and Yannick Kurtz continuing to drive together here for P1 and 2, respectively for now.
And they're
Sheffer spun. Jump back real quick, see if we can catch that spin. And there it is right there. A little bit of, possibly a bit of a push from Garton contributing to that.
I caught the end of it. I couldn't really tell.
One thing I did want to mention right now is your top two runners, McGee and Kurtz, right now in another universe in terms of last lap times, running 42.2, 42.3 respectively. Meanwhile, Christoph, Fernandez, Garton, 43.4, 43.7, 43.3. So, like, just the front two are just running away.
Right now, yeah, pulling very far ahead. Again, now a little over 5 seconds back to Christoph Arts. Stomping Penguin, really enjoyed the 24 hours. Imola recently, great coverage, guys. Thank you, Stomping Penguin. Appreciate you being here. We watch our front runners. Adam Thomas now getting ahead of Remco Ottens back for P14.
Moses under pressure from Shepard.
Yeah, I see that. Right now, Lee King McGee, though, feeling the pressure from Kurtz. Oh, Stomping Penguin was part of the beach sandy-colored Ferrari. Yeah, it wasn't sandy-colored because of the livery, though. I know that for sure, sir. Adam Thomas now again under pressure from Remco Ottens.
And the person that made out like a bandit with the Scheffer incident just now.
And King McGee getting ahead of Yannick. Wait, what?
I mean, he was in front of him, but it's close.
Well, it must have traded on my screen real quick because Yannick Kurt's still running in second. So
yeah, he's right behind him.
Broadcaster tools, they're good until they aren't.
Yeah, they flip. Well, it's just like, this ACC TV is fantastic, but one thing it will do is every time someone goes into the pits, it'll show a yellow flag.
Yeah.
So you have to start to learn where people are on track so you can try and avoid focusing on a person that isn't really yellow flagged and just went into the pits.
One thing to highlight for the viewers that are interested, the person that made out like a bandit with the Scheffer incident, Cole Gress, was able to leapfrog Foos, Moses, and Scheffer with the Scheffer incident up into P7 now.
Well, and Will Green as well. I mean, if we go back and look, Will Green at this point has gained 2 positions. Gress has gained 2. So really both those guys able to jump ahead because of that incident. If we just take a look so far at our position deltas and what's happened at this point, As we go up here towards the front, focus on McGee again. McGee gaining a position, Arts gaining a position. But really in our top 10 right now, Moses, Green, and Gress all gaining 2 positions at this point due to the incidents we've seen.
There's some good close racing right now happening between Sheffer and Moses. He's trying to battle back within about 3.5 tenths. Trying to come back on the AMG of Moses. Just looking at information about like lap averages, Sheffer pumping in about a 44.15 for his lap average. Meanwhile, Moses is pumping in about a 43.5. So, like, right now, Moses is going to start pulling away. Shefford's going to have to do a little bit of work to try and bounce back. But racing's still a little bit close for now.
And my screen says Garton in P5 has the fastest lap. Is that right?
Yep, that is true.
Yep, 142.082.
Yep. That is quite the grocery run around Imola in terms of lap time. 2 tenths between the race leader and P2 right
too
now.
much fun watching that. Just him hanging all over his back bumper. Just, letting him know he's there.
He's trying to play the mind games, trying to activate the psychic punt.
Just put myself in your mirror and let you wreck out. They used to say on the Xbox that I had the evil eye, because whenever I got behind someone, they started spinning out, and then I would just drive right by them.
That's funny, because whenever I was on the Xbox,
the next realm, but
that's funny because whenever I was on the Xbox, people just said, "Could you get out of the way? Like, you're slow."
A lot of that happened too.
That happened to me a lot. So just to give you guys an idea, though, if we look at turn 8 coming into, if we trap out turn 8, we come in, coming into that final chicane at the top of the hill. McGee is holding a 134.2 for kilometers per hour. Kurtz with a 131.95. So obviously, and to be honest, Arts, Fernandez, and Will Green all faster into that corner than our current second place, which is Yannick Kurtz. Okay, that's one corner, that's one trap, right? But Kurtz playing a little safe right now. I don't know that we're going to see him go for a pass at this point. Moses and Sheffer again side by side. Sheffer getting advantage on the inside. Pulling himself up into P9 around Moses. Now Sheffer able to run away a little bit. Arts and Fernandez now. The battle of the BMWs up front.
Yeah, trying to hang on to that third step of the podium.
And King McGee sets our new fastest lap, a 141.735.
All right.
And over the course of that lap, opened things up a little bit. Now a full second over Kurtz, which we hadn't seen a full second between those two up to this point yet.
And that's interesting too, because Kurtz himself set his own personal best last lap with a 41.907.
Yep.
So these guys are just Titans, just beating each other down at Imola right now.
Wangle Snatcher able to pull up into P18 around Stuart Pryor. Humphrey's still down a position so far today, but we'll see if he's able to make that up. Fernandez and Garton Look at this battle back here for really, well, we'll loop in Arts for P3 because there's still only about a second between them, but Christoph Arts, Wilson Fernandez, and George Garton all keeping things very close, and now Kurtz closing in on McGee again. We'll keep an eye up there on the front. If we take a look, we can compare some of their times. Right there, McGee a little slower that lap. Kurtz able to tighten things up. These guys are going to battle throughout this entire race. I think the only time we're going to see them split up is during the pit stops, right?
Yeah, pit stops will be a big moment in this race. Mainly, I'm interested in seeing as the front runners start to get closer to this lap traffic, like where does that fall in relation to when the pit stops start? Because it could be that you know, dive out of the way instead of trying to fight your way through back marker traffic.
Mm-hmm. So far, though, both these drivers keeping it very close, extremely consistent to be able to maintain these not only these times, right? We see the times lowering and lowering, but also just the fact that they will not separate shows the consistency that both of them have across this track so far. They had a lot of practice last week. So Stomping Penguin in the chat asks, when do you think they will pit? So it's going to be curious. I don't think McGee or Kurtz have ever shown themselves to be undercutters or overcutters by a wide margin. Chief, I don't know if you can agree with me on that or not. I don't remember either of these guys being someone who stays out an extremely long time.
No, but you can with the Bentley in a race like this.
If he's loaded up, he absolutely could. Now, in a 90-minute race with the mandatory tires and fuel, there's no splashing and dashing, because even if you only want to throw 1 liter in,
right, you still gotta get the tires.
Yeah, you're still doing tires, so really nothing there is going to save you. But
and if he's loaded up, can he do times that fast in a loaded up Bentley? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he might be able to. You can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
I can't. I sure as shit.
No comment.
We'll check in again with Christoph Arts, Wilson Fernandez, and George Garton. These three, the triplets now running a pack. No
yeah, I've been watching.
Yet, but...
I've been watching this fight between for P3 right now, and Arts is really holding this bunch up like a lot. 42.958 is the average lap time for Arts at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Garton's punching in a 42.749, so a 2/10 advantage in Garton's favor.
Yeah, and Garton holding a 142.082 as his fastest versus Arts with a 42.332. So that holds true even in just looking at their fastest laps. That's holding true, right?
Yeah, I mean Fernandez also 42.8. So Arts is really slowing these two up, but at the same time, it's just specifically for the Beamers. It's really hard to pass around here when you're following a Beamer. It's a wide car, and also it's got a lot of curb compliance, and it can be really aggressive in some of these corners.
Mm-hmm.
Good car for defending around Imola.
Well, I was going to say, hats off to Arts looking at those times at being able to hold that position now, and these two unable to find an opening to really get some clean air in front of them.
I mean, even with the draft right now, because they should have a train. Like Garton should be like really quick going into Tamburello. Looks like he's going to try and make a move potentially on Fernandez into Tamburello.
Yep. And there he goes. Garton able to clear him right there.
Perfect.
That's a move done right there, and was able to dodge the sleeping policeman on the exit of Tamburello, which is critical for executing that pass and not ending up in the sand over on the left side of the track.
Mm-hmm. Saw a lot of those last week during the 24-hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that turn one, even with the outside line, if they could get even down the straight, if they could be, you know, hub to hub racing down that straight, even with the outside line, they were going to be able to take it, because that next corner comes so fast, and now you've got the inside as long as you're able to hold on to it, right? Brake just a second later or a half second later, whatever it takes you to get there. And we just saw Garton pull it off.
Yeah, Imola is one of those tracks in particular that I feel like the pace is kind of a cumulative thing. Like you have to get your previous lap correct to really set you up for a fast lap in the current lap, because Tamburello in particular, like if you bottle the corner entry into Tamburello, like you just lose time to Villeneuve, you lose time to Toza, you lose time, you just start losing time. So it's just one of those complexes in particular. And that's why I love Imola. Sector 1 in particular is just such a fun sequence of corners.
It's I would compare, Sector 1 to me at Imola is a lot like coming down the mountain at Bathurst.
Yep.
Right? It's if you hit it wrong, you're going to lose a lot of time, you're going to cost yourself. But when you hit it right, there's a flow to it that just comes together, right?
Yeah.
You just feel that flow, and you're able to pull that back and forth and hit your marks and go where you need to go, and it just works out fantastically.
And that is an excellent comparison as well with bringing Bathurst up, because if you mess up Sector 3 at Bathurst, your next lap is going to be slow, because turn 1's going to be slow, going up the mountain's going to be slow, everything's going to be slow. So, absolutely, 100%, like definitely one of those kinds of sectors.
Yep.
So I saw Anderson get around Pickett. Anderson's got some side damage on that Lexus. Don't know if that's going to be affecting the aero on the car at all.
Had to race Pickett yesterday. He is not slow. I will give him that. Obviously, different car, different track, but he's not a slow person. That's for sure. Another
combo out on track right now that seems to be rather tightly tight together is I'm looking at P17. Well, actually P16.
Tom Foose able to sneak around Cole Gress right there.
So Gress
getting advantage
finally found a
Porsche.
Yeah, that was a fight that's been going on for quite some time.
And now Gress is going to have to contend with Scheffer. If Jostein Scheffer can catch up, which he has, he's closing that gap down very quickly. And now Gress is going to have to try and make that Porsche wide enough to hold. Or I'm sorry, Scheffer is going to have to make that. No, Gress. I'm looking at the wrong list here. Apologies. Gress is going to have to make that Porsche wide enough to now hold Jostein Scheffer at bay as well.
So the advantages that Gress is going to run into going into Sector 2 right now is Porsche is, for people who don't know how to drive it, its aero platform is really good, which could end up being a really good match for the M4 itself. It's just whether or not it does, like you've said before, just Porsche things, because Aqua Minerale, Variante Alta, it's very easy to make that car go upside down.
Tightening it right back up right now, though.
Ooh. Squeeze going into Variante Alta, and Gress just couldn't get alongside.
He did look to have that inside line, but just couldn't close the deal right there.
Yeah, it's a straight line speed disadvantage. That's the disadvantage of the Porsche. The straight line aspect of the Porsche around here is going to hurt Cole in a big way, and he goes
right
deep
there,
into Rebazza 1.
Cole going way deep and opening the door for Scheffer. Cuts the inside now. Two BMWs around Gress. But now maybe a little time to breathe, right?
Reset.
Arts. George Garton continuing to battle for P3 right now.
And TG is going to make the move on Pickett here.
Yep, there it went right there. Let's jump back here real quick. Get that replay real fast. Yeah, TG with him dead to rights down the straight. And this is the move I was talking about. We saw over and over last week. He had a slight advantage coming inside, right? Or coming on, I'm sorry, on the outside into T1. And that translates into a massive advantage heading into T2 as the corners flip.
Oh, yeah. The defensive line into T1 at Tamburello is so hard to defend because it compromises so much of your angle through the chicane itself that, like, you're not... if you manage to stay in front of the guy, you're definitely going to have a fight on your hands when you get down to the Villeneuve chicane.
Oh, and we are trading paint for P1. Both King McGee and Kurtz banging doors. Wow, McGee holding on, but just barely. Both guys went off track after a door slam. But both drivers also being very, what do I want to say, polite about it. King McGee holding on to P1 for now, but Kurtz not going to give up.
So tough but respectful.
Well, I think it happened. When we're racing this close, when you're that close, it only takes a minor slip to bang a door or to give a bump, right? Yeah. So neither one of them are missing braking points, flying off the track, blasting the other one off into the gravel. None of those things happen. And I think that's when you have to have that most, the most respect to say, okay, we traded some paint, but this is a race. Let's go.
And with the lap time last lap with the door banging incident, I mean, a 45.0, 44.7. So they definitely both lost some significant time. They're still way out in front. But in terms of their lap averages, these two, the margins could not be thinner if we tried. 42.419 for King, and then Kurtz with a 42.436. So hundredths of a second between them. In terms of average lap times and pace. And yeah, it's going to be, I think this is going to be a street fight all the way to the end.
That's what I'm seeing. Absolutely. And I love it. Tom Foose, Jostein Scheffer battling as well. Daniel Pickett now into the pits. Another one too is Garton and Fernandez continue to accordion this gap between the two of them. Christoph Arts is trying to get away, but unfortunately just hasn't had the opportunity to do so yet.
So out of the field so far, it looks like Pickett and Brown are first two to actually at least clear their mandatory pit stop flag. So Pickett probably with a lot of the contact and stuff like that involved earlier, probably just trying to get out of some of the traffic, get in, get the tires and fuel refreshed.
Got a lot of bumping going on here now. Wilson Fernandez. Hold up. We're gonna have to back this up a little ways here. Christoph Arts leading at the time. But we've got contact coming through as these guys look to clear a back marker. Garton up the inside knocks Arts off track. Well, Garton and Fernandez both now able to get around.
And I suspect that they're just going to start to drive away from Arts.
Well, as you said, they've been waiting to clear that, right?
Yeah.
So now Fernandez and Garton going to make it a battle.
Yeah, and Garton's just lost so much time in comparison to the front runners. I mean, he's been pretty quick in comparison to the front two, but being stuck behind Arts and Fernandez this whole time has been slowing him down a lot.
There we see, 11-second gap up to Yannick Kurtz and King McGee, who now have over a 1-second gap between them. I want to check something here real quick. Check on Pickett. Hey, there we go. We do have cleared pit stops. Perfect. Finally figured that out.
Actually, I'm going to take a look real quick. I'm kind of curious to get like a reference, like what Pickett's pit stop time looked like. And he was in the pits for a minute and 26.2 257. So not sure if that is, well, I mean, it's definitely got to include tires, but don't know if we're dealing with any kind of like mistakes or repairs or anything like that yet.
As you said, now clear of Christoph Arts. Hernandez not able to get away from him quite yet.
It's actually a slow pit stop in comparison to Brown. Brown got in and out in 1:25.5. So what is that? Like a little under a second. What, 8/10 between them in terms of pit stops? And I think with close fights like you're talking about with like McGee and Kurtz, or between Arts and Fernandez right now, a bungled pit stop could be the difference maker for your finishing order with the guy that you're chasing. So
yeah, 100% with that close, and especially staying this close throughout the entire race, right?
Indeed.
Keysar and Pryor tightening things up further back as well. But as we've been watching for the entire first, now 35 minutes of this race, King McGee and Yannick Kurtz tight up front. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you for y'all to hang out. I'm going to step away real quick.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take a few minutes here. I have left the stream on autopilot. Get to see as much as possible. But I'll be just a few moments away as I have to take care of one quick thing. We will continue right here. Actually, before I do that, as we watch our front runners clear back markers, I do want to take a quick moment and talk to everyone again about Beer Cup, Trackalicious Sim Racing, and 949. Box 3 Motorsports all come together Tuesday nights, and Trackalicious has been covering those. So if you want to watch people goof around in the Porsche Cup cars and the BMWs, that is the place to be. I just heard too many good things about that series and how much fun everyone has been having. So I think it's great. And we also have coming up 6-hour endurance series all summer long, starting in May at Barcelona, 4 p.m. UTC. That's 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time. Again, in conjunction with 949 and Trackalicious Sim Racing. Phillips here joining us from 949 today. Good to have you, man. Good to have Chief here. He's been hiding lately, so I like having him back here.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, guys, for having me. It's been a lot of fun watching round 7 in The Arrival. So.
The Arrival. I don't know if we're gonna have a name for season 3. Those guys, they like their names. Not involved with the planning of the PC League because I don't participate. So I keep my nose out of it. But I think we've done a fantastic job so far. A great spread of tracks. A great, the different formats we have with sprint races, the standards and the endurance. I think all comes together really, really well to build a season.
Now, you guys have got a good formula, and the track selection, the formats, it all looks like a really good weekend offering for people that are looking for sports car racing in North American times. So just keep doing what you're doing because it's a good formula.
Here we go, though. We're going for it. Kurtz is heading down the outside. Not going to quite get there this time, though. These guys are going to continue to battle it. He made another look.
An interesting thing I'm thinking about with that Bentley right now is I wonder if, because Bentley's one of the cars that that can definitely struggle. Oh, I think the move's going to get done.
Kurtz makes the move. The play is over for now. McGee not giving up, but Kurtz able to get around him.
I think it's going to be rear traction with the BMW, or not the BMW, but the Bentley in particular. The traction control, exit, slippage. It's a common problem with Bentley, with the Bentley platform, and the BMW does not suffer from that. So as this stint wears on, it could be that McGee's rear tires are getting to the phase where he's starting to lose a little bit of that corner exit grip, and you can see it as he struggles through Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, I was gonna say you saw the struggle right there as the back end kicked out on him just enough to slow him down, right? And we saw that gap open up.
Yeah, and look at Kurtz right now. Kurtz is just streaking away. So I'm thinking McGee is going to want to punch in real fast and get some new shoes, because otherwise, if he tries to extend this stint out, maybe try and even pull an overcut on Kurtz, I don't think it's going to work.
Well, and we are just about to, I mean, we're 5 minutes away from the halfway point, so he's getting to the point where you're going to start looking to do that anyway, right? You're going to look to start, what time do I want to go in? Let's try and keep it close. But to your point, we've seen it now where he just seems like he's not quite as fast. And if we look at the last laps, Yannick Kurtz with 143.3, King McGee almost a full second slower, 144.2. That's a big drop from the battle we've been watching for the entire first 40 minutes of this race.
Yeah, it could be that Kurtz was maybe even just like sitting behind him, doing a little bit of just like, from a mind games perspective, just sitting in his rearview mirror, trying to keep the pressure applied on him and just holding pace in hand. You never know with these guys. I mean, most of the people just want to get around the dude and streak off into the sunset. But if there was any kind of conservation happening on Yannick's from Yannick's perspective, it's paying dividends right now because he is running away from McGee.
Yeah, that gap's opening up a little further every second. So we check in with Will Green. Tom Foose now applying pressure to Will Green.
Yeah, half second, less than a second between them.
Tobias Gable now into the pits. We looking to clear that mandatory stop. Now, Chief, you're a Bentley driver, so I got to assume you're an overcutter when it comes to your pit stops, right? You're going to load up on fuel, go as long as you can?
Yes.
And what about you, Phil? Where are you normally looking to land?
Oh man, as a Lexus driver, I'm kind of in a similar boat as the Bentley, but I also burn fuel at a faster rate. I don't have the tank that the Bentley does, so I'm kind of stuck in a world where either I do like a half and half strategy or like a 60-40, and then I'm kind of just like looking to figure out what kind of traffic am I coming up to, and try to use that as the gauge on whether or not I'm doing a 50-50, 60-40 kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
But like the Bentley, the Lexus can shred its rear tires if you're overzealous with your right foot.
I
think
know.
between the Bentley, the Lambo. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was gonna say Huff and those guys just love that Lexus, so I assumed there was not anything wrong with it whatsoever.
I will sing the Lexus's praises all the livelong day, but I also understand what the weaknesses of that car are, what the weaknesses are, and its ability to manage tire wear is very tough. Also, fuel consumption is pretty high, but man, that straight line speed, you just gotta love waving to people as you drive by them in a straight line.
So let's take a look up front right now and just look at these last laps. So when we talk about, lap 24 as these guys head across again. A 142.040 for Kurtz. And a 142.4 for King McGee. That gap has now, King McGee now, heads into the pits. Of course, right when I go to look, he decides it's pit time. But as you said, that Bentley bringing it in, right?
Yeah, I think he was losing way. Yeah, I was thinking he was losing way too much speed on corner exit. Gotta change those tires got to start bringing this race back to him. I mean, it could be that he could get out on track, get some temperature in those tires, and be able to start to close the gap on Kurtz. But he wasn't going to be doing it with the set of shoes he was running in.
Obviously struggling, losing a lot of time. But now into the pits, so we'll have to see how this washes out as the stops start to get cleared. Right now, DJ and Bob Charlton. A little bit of a battle. DJ doing all right for himself in that 969 Porsche today.
That is a pretty livery as well. I love the very, it gives me kind of like classic like Le Mans vibes when I look at that color combination.
Well, because the Box 3 colors are fantastic.
I mean, it's retro. I love it. I'm a child of the 80s. I love the retro look. So.
King McGee now out of the pits.
So this is going to be critical for McGee. He's got to get the tires into the operating window as fast as possible, but at the same time too, he can't take silly risks and grain these tires because they're not up to temperature. So graining is a factor, and also can't attack the curbs probably the same way he normally would.
We'll back off for a lap and a half, and then hopefully get back up to pace and see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know that we know he has the pace, right? That Kurtz has, and Kurtz now into the pits. So we'll see how quickly Kurtz comes back out, because if this is clearing both stops, may have come in at just the right time. Will Green into the pits now as well. It's gonna be curious because Kurtz coming back out ahead of King. We're sealing that fate pretty tightly, right?
Yeah. If Kurtz, if King is not really swinging in those mid to low 42s like he was at the start of this race, he's gonna be in trouble, because Kurtz is not really let up this entire race, and it now all comes down to pit stops.
So Kurtz is now moving. King McGee just set the new fastest lap. The 140, no, that was the same fast lap. My apologies. But Kurtz just now getting to the end of pit lane. Let's see where we land here. King McGee right behind him.
Man.
So Kurtz now about 2 seconds ahead. As we said, he's going to have to warm those tires though, right? He's not coming out. He's not running 100% on this first lap.
Correct.
So does that give McGee enough time to close that gap up and make it a challenge again?
This is a do or die moment for McGee's race. I think if he's got to close up on Kurtz and start to apply pressure immediately. In terms of pit stop deltas, there is nothing between these guys. We've got a 16.604 from Kurtz in the pits, and then a 16.0. I mean 0.6. So Kurtz did lose. That's the reason why you saw McGee being so close as they exited the pits together. So he did lose 0.6. But in terms of their lap averages, their pit stop times in relation to the rest of the field, they're in another level.
Chris Moses now P4 going into the pits, so he'll be clearing his stop. Our top 5 right now all still needing to clear that mandatory pit stop.
Yannick having a moment out of the final chicane. Like, tires aren't up to temperature yet. You can't attack the curbs the same way.
But let's be fair. If it were you, you're going to attack those curbs the same way, right?
Yeah. But that's my lizard brain telling my wooden right foot like what to do. And of course, it's like the blind leading the blind. Like, right foot wants to go fast, lizard brain wants to go fast. Car's like, nah.
Now, did y'all just see that right there? Did y'all just watch DJ let Will Green just slide right through?
Yeah.
Will Green, I think the man is a Svengali or something. Every time I see Will Green behind people on a track, they kind of just let him through.
Is it like the Jedi mind trick thing?
It's gotta be. I watched him at the Hungaroring one day when we all raced Xbox. 3 drivers just let him through for no reason.
You know you're gonna lose eventually, so you just let it happen.
You just let it happen.
Yeah.
Like, no, not like this.
This is not the position you're looking for, and then all of a sudden he just streaks on by.
Christoph Arts now into the pits as Justin Scheffer picks up P2. Check in with Kurtz and King McGee. Still a 2-second split between them right now. So King McGee setting the after pit fastest of a 142.287. Now Kurtz held the previous with a 142 flat. So still 2/10 off that pace, right? But so far, we'll have to wait and see for this lap to update, see where these guys are running.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing so far in the information, it looks like McGee is starting to see a little bit of that benefit of being on established tires, pitting a lap ahead of Kurtz. But the thing that I'm seeing that is kind of making me concerned for McGee's sake is that I'm not seeing lap deltas that tell me that he's going to start closing. I feel like as Kurtz starts to get his tires into temperature, he's going to start to drive away.
And I'm starting to wonder if that didn't already happen. I mean, just as these guys cross the line, you see there at the bottom of your screen, 141.7 for Kurtz and a 142.1. So still 4/10 off the pace to be able to close that gap. And Christoph Arts now coming out. Okay. See, again, that software giving you that yellow flag when they're not yellow flagged.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it. Christoph Arts now back out on track. Will Green falling back to P8. Wilson Fernandez into the pits, putting Justin Scheffer into P1. We wait for Anthony Anderson as well to clear that pit stop. And that should shovel us back around to where Hertz and McGee continue to run up front. But you see how wide, I mean, that gap already is continuing to open now over 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And holding steady up there too, right? We don't see it closing up at this point.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the things where I'm kind of curious what game Yannick was playing this whole time. Because it definitely seems like a tale of two races. It seemed like a very conservative, just applying pressure, kind of Yannick Kurtz, just trying to make King McGee make a mistake. That didn't happen. And then as we start to get closer to that pit window, Kurtz makes the move, gets it done. And everything since then has just been a different race. Like Yannick is punching harder and he's punching in faster laps. And King's got to do something or he's going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Right now, DJ fending off Chris Moses and Cole Gress. And now off into the dirt. Chris Moses able to get around. We'll see if Cole is able to capitalize as well. Now, the only thing is, though, if I'm Cole Gress, I'm not fighting DJ right now. Right? If I'm looking at my MFD or whatever it is I'm not fighting DJ. DJ has to go into the pits yet.
Yeah.
Both Moses and Gress have cleared. They have no concern about him right now. And I get racing hard, but my point being is why take chances? I guess my point being more, you don't need to take chances that you don't need to take.
Oh, if I'm Cole, the thing that I'm wanting DJ out of the way is I don't want Green to get too far down the road.
Mm-hmm. So he is able to make that pass. So Cole Gress, Chris Moses both jumping ahead of DJ now. DJ, that 969 Porsche still needing to make a pit stop. Christoph Arts fending off George Garton. Scheffer leading in the BMW, and Anthony Anderson looking to stay out as long as they can before hitting that pit stop.
Hats off to Anderson for making the Lexus be competitive on the long run. Pretty sure I'd be struggling to get to the end of the race if I were trying to do a long run. Although I have a code for that, like a cheat code for that. I just run the progressive throttle map, and I'm slow as garbage. Like it's just that's how I save fuel. Progressive throttle map. Everybody passes me, but I get to the end of the race and don't run out of fuel.
There you go. Right now, as we watch DJ again, poor DJ getting beat up back here under pressure once again. This time from Tom Foose. We've got a spun vehicle off the track in Terrell Seens Tyler, currently running in 30th.
In the Honda. Really?
Christoph Arts, George Garton looking to make time with Christoph Arts up here. and a clean run of it. Gets himself into P6. Tom Foose getting ahead of DJ back there as we were just watching a moment ago. But George Garton pulling P6 out on Christoph Arts. Garton a full second faster than Arts on the last lap. I mean, that's
that's definite pace delta. I'm actually surprised that Arts wasn't able to battle back and get alongside out of Toza, because the line was so compromised for Garton to even get around. But at the same time, just the straight line speed advantage between those two drivers right now. It's just Arts just had nothing for him. Oh wow, into Aqua Minerale, man. It's getting spicy.
Moses off and Cole Gress pulling into P9. Jostein Scheffer and Anthony Anderson both into the pits now as Yannick Kurtz jumps back up into P1. King McGee joining him in P2. Now 3.6 seconds separating our front runners. They are just, Kurtz is just running now with clean air in front of him. And again, just take a look at those laps, running a full half second, almost a half second over King McGee right now.
Yeah, King McGee is losing out pretty much everywhere on track right now.
As DJ becomes the lone soldier to not yet pit.
But King McGee also has a 15-second gap to third, so nothing really to worry about getting stuck in third, you know?
I mean, at this point, I mean, we look at this, we got what, 35 minutes left. It's Kurt's race to lose. Okay, gets tangled up in back markers he can't clear, or pushes a little too hard, throws it into a corner. Obviously, King McGee close enough to twist that up, but both of them very safe from Fernandez at this point in regards to gaps. So Fernandez running a good race, though, currently sitting in third. George Garton. Arts not quite able to close gaps on Garton, though.
I'm looking right now trying to figure out where DJ is going to pop out when he finally takes the pit. He's 12 positions up currently.
That's what DJ does, though. I think DJ is one of our long pitters. He just, you know, he goes for the overshoot every time.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if he's going to come out in front of Rogerio Santos, maybe Ryan Blanchette. Like, I think that's probably what he's targeting, wanting to stay out in front of those guys.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of a run between Gray and Thomas back in P18, along with Rob Kisar. Kisar a little slower than Gray on the last lap. Everybody tightening up now. Adam Thomas, and looks like Stuart Pryor may have opportunity to get involved here with this little pack heading uphill. It's a lot of Porsches.
Current balance of performance does kind of favor Porsche drivers a little bit that are familiar with the car. It didn't really do anything to change how the car behaved. Whereas, you know, if you drive the Honda NSX right now, you're probably spitting mad because it's like almost a completely different car between patches.
Yeah, I heard the Honda got hammered pretty good as far as changes went. Not good or bad necessarily, just that it basically threw out all of your, you know, tossed away all of your setups, tossed away everything. Rob Kisar now under a ton of pressure as these guys bump a little bit of door. John Gray sneaking through, but Kisar looking to rejoin. Gonna lose time. I'm sorry, John Gray dropping time now. Kisar able to hold on. Adam Thomas getting around. John Gray trying now to defend against Stuart Pryor. The more door banging. Guys are driving aggressive today. Want to come back up front though as Justine Scheffer, George Garten, and Christoph Artz stack up. Back marker mixed in.
Man, you want to talk about the data don't lie. You want to talk about what brought Scheffer back into P4 so easily in front of Garten and Artz. Pit stop was about 2 seconds faster.
Wow.
like just brought him back into it. It was just absolutely in comparison to Artz, like a 1:16.0 on the pit stop. Artz a 21. So not even 2 seconds. 5 seconds between Artz and Scheffer.
Well, obviously Scheffer, no repairs, nothing there that slowed him down whatsoever in the pits.
Yeah.
DJ now into the pits. We'll see where he comes back out. 33 laps down, right around half an hour to go.
And the thing is with that pit stop like that, man, a 21, that's a shockingly slow pit stop. So
Green, off track, real deep into the sand.
I wonder if he just had a. I wonder if he had a snap.
Something, like, threw him right off there. And again, the software. It's the one thing about this software that bothers me is it's either a 10-second replay or you got to go all the way to 30.
Yeah.
30 seconds a long time when you're trying to watch battles.
Man, and not only that, and this is not necessarily something the ACC TV folks can really do anything about, but the thing that one of the reasons why I refrain from using replays while watching live races is that I use a lot of things like pitwall.live and other tools that give me like average information. The second you hit replay, it dumps all that data in the garbage.
Really?
Start from zero.
Oh wow, that's horrible.
That is a beautiful 992.
Good looking vehicle and trying to fight Adam Thomas off. Having a little bit of success now stretching out, but John Gray again going to be right there to join him. George Garten and Christoph Artz continue to battle for P5.
There's a very retro Martini livery. I wonder if people see that. I wonder if people that also race iRacing in this game see a Martini livery and then just start like immediately getting paranoid, like start clinching. Because if you've ever raced in iRacing, you know when somebody's in the Mazda MX-5 behind you and they're in the Martini livery, they're going to send it.
That's iRacing. They're all going to send it every day, all the time.
So Artz is can't tell if he.
Well, Garten faster on the last lap, but I mean, obviously Art's keeping it very close.
Yeah.
I want to see what this lap time comes in as just to see who's ahead this time. And right there, Art's making up a lot of time. 2/10 faster on that last lap. Letting him keep it tight on Garten.
Somebody who's running a lonely race right now in terms of not being around anybody, but is on cue to maybe take a podium position is Wilson Fernandez right now. 16 seconds behind McGee, but 11 seconds in front of Scheffer.
11 on Scheffer, yeah. It's going to be hard for anybody to close him up in the last 28 minutes today.
I'm telling you, he must feel like he's got Sector 2 all to himself.
Just gotta hope you don't get. I mean, at this point, and again, we talked about this short track, and it is so much fun because there's always traffic somewhere, right? But he's at this point gotta hope no back markers slow him down too much, right? Because 11 seconds sounds like a huge amount of time. It takes one back marker to jangle you up for half a lap, and that 10 seconds gets real short real fast.
Oh, you go off track anywhere on the final few corners of Sector 3 or anywhere in Sector 1, and you basically get a shovel and try and paddle your way out of the kitty litter, bleeding time the entire way. So there are definitely a lot of places at Imola where you can be punished for making a mistake.
Oh, and Thomas off track. John Gray and Keystar again. You guys battling so hard. So Thomas and Keystar were battling, and then Thomas running wide into the gravel. allowing John Gray to get around as well. So that gap's going to open back up at this point.
3 cars get around. So it's like, again, it's one of those things where like mistakes on this track punish you in terms of your overall lap time.
Keesar and Gray, though, going to run together now.
That was Kurtz clearing him.
So again, all three of these guys. Thomas still right there with them. Keesar pulling it out now a little bit.
Gray had a bit of a moment. It is Gray had a bit of a sideways moment out of Aqua Minerale. Almost collected Adam Thomas, but they made it. Definitely one of those moments where either he's going to be changing his underwear or feeling really proud of his driving skills. Could be both.
Could be. Why not both? I'm proud I made it out. Now I have to change. Chris Moses and Tom Foose. We've seen these guys come together a few times today as well. In the hunt for P8. Just to give you a look up front real quick, Kurtz, we talked about earlier about how, you know, once he opened up clean air, where was he going to go? Kurtz now a 5-second gap back to King McGee. So he's really run off on this hard. Second half of the race here again, because it does clear that fastest lap after a pit stop. Kurtz with a 141.5 and McGee's fastest at a 141.9.
Yeah, I mean, there's a 3/10 advantage on average in Kurtz's favor.
Tom Foose up the inside, taking P8 from Chris Moses just like that.
I gotta wonder if Moses had a little bit of an issue on corner exit of turn 1 there, because saw him go over the exit curbing out of Tamburello, and it did not look like the AMG was too happy.
Little bouncing. A little bit further back, Charlton and Matt Comiskey. Keesar in gray again. Seems like some of these cars have magnets attached to them today. These guys keep coming back together. But Gray having a great race so far, even if he cannot claim this position from Rob. Up 4 positions into P17. Even Rob gaining 2 today. We take a look at, you know, how our drivers have done throughout the course of this race. Yannick Hertz is flat, having taken back that position. King McGee and Fernandez all running flat for our top 3, but Scheffer and Garten both up to 1 spot each. Christoph Arts down 2, Gress up 2, Moses up 2. Will Green, I wonder if this isn't his track. A bit of a weak showing today from Will. Obviously, we saw a losing position earlier when he went off track into the dirt. But very interesting to see again, especially after the last few weeks where Will has just been crushing. And we got a push into a Ferrari. Who got pushed? DJ and Ryan Blanchette. Ryan Blanchette spun. DJ staying on track. Wow. We check on John Gray and Adam Thomas. But Christoph Arts was able to get around George Garten during that kerfluffle.
Kind of curious too, like those two at least from what I'm seeing in the data in ACC, they're not even in the same division, are they? Blanchett and DJ.
We don't think about like things like that here, you know. We don't
Okay.
like to think that far ahead. I'm just messing around.
All right.
No, honestly, it
But
doesn't even
I
pull
truly
that.
don't think a lot of people think about it. You know, I don't think it's all about. I could be wrong, but just based on how everyone races, I don't think they really care.
Well, that the reason why I ask is because from like a scoring perspective, like one of the things we did a couple seasons in 949, like there was no overall championship. You raced in your category at the same time as other categories were racing. So you had like Division 1 through Division 4. So what would happen is you would get a Division 2 or Division 3 guy. Like you get a Division 3 guy in front of a Division 2 guy. Now, it doesn't benefit that individual to fight the Division 2 guy, but if immediately behind the Division 2 guy is another Division 3 guy, all of a sudden I have a buffer now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of just curious because DJ and Blanchett coming together, not being in the same division, it's one of those things where it's like DJ might be thinking, I'm, as far as the other silver badge drivers in this race right now, I'm third. Meanwhile, the next guy who could take third away from me is 3 places back, separated by 2 red badge drivers. So I'm just kind of curious if that kind of dynamic happens around here. It may not.
I think some think about it and some don't. Like I normally know who's in my class, and I'll typically let people buy. 1, because they're faster than me, and there's a reason they're in a different class. But 2, for that same reason you're talking about, there's no reason fighting them when they're not in my class. But I don't know how many people take that into consideration. I would say maybe 50-50, but
Interesting. And
maybe
lateral G,
skew it a little larger. I could be wrong.
yeah, lateral G saying most drivers only think of the overall.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. That would be my opinion based on what I see from the actual races themselves, you know.
Yeah, if he's ahead of me and I can pass him, you pass him. Doesn't matter if he isn't in your class. I would think that'd be pretty typical for a lot of drivers, right?
It's definitely interesting. I do know that particularly in 949 in particular, because of the categories, the way that we had them set up, that a lot of that kind of like fight don't fight math started happening.
Really?
But
Okay.
but at the same time, I'm not entirely 100% on how Box 3 scores things, and given the hard fighting that DJ was doing with Blanchett, it leads me to believe that the overall's the thing that matters, at least for right now. But yeah, I just wasn't sure, so that's why I asked the question. The one thing that is kind of fascinating right now that I'm seeing is this battle between, I'm looking at it right now, between Arts and Garton right now, duking it out. In terms of like the relative delta between them, 43.255 on average for Arts and a 43.259 for Garton on average. Both of them have punched in over 10 lap stints, so they're really close on pace. It is a really close fight between these two.
They are, but Garton's been able to open this one up a little bit. I mean, 1.8 sitting right now. Ever since getting around, he's been able to slowly spread that gap.
Yeah. Pace advantage is definitely in Garton's favor right now, but in terms of like just like comparing drivers on tail of the tape kind of thing, right now on average they're very comparable pace. So the thing that Arts is going to be kicking himself over is that 1 minute 21 pit stop.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be the thing that he's going to go back and think about.
Sitting a little too long.
Because I mean,
Gonna
the
do it
difference
to you.
is the difference between those two is almost 6 seconds. So, like that is a lot of time to be sitting still.
Yeah. Old Rest doing well today, currently sitting P7. Retro Coffin Yellow flagged and off track right now, sitting against the wall. That's going to let John Gray, Stuart Pryor get around.
Oh, and that's a hard spot to try and rejoin.
Yep, before he's able to get spun. Does a nice rejoin, able to stay out of the way. Get himself back on track. Up front, though, Yannick Kurtz continues to lead with King McGee, now almost 10 seconds off pace. That is a huge gap that got opened up as we check in with Tom Foose. Chris Moses right there with him.
So McGee and Fernandez are kind of like almost like frozen in P2, P3, and it's kind of like Yannick's, like you were saying before, it's Yannick's race to lose at this point.
Yeah, and he's definitely held pace over McGee so far. I mean, with a 141.3 as his fastest, and McGee's fastest with a 142.185, and even their last laps, 142 flat for Kurtz and a 142.5 for McGee. I mean, Kurtz just has the pace on him and is going to be able to outstrip him the whole time.
Yeah. It's just wild watching Tom Foos drive around in this M6. Like, I just never see it anymore. It's just somebody driving it. It's just it's a breath of fresh air. And also I'm just kind of like thinking to myself, I'm like, really? That car?
He has done very well with it. I will say that. He's won several races. He's podiumed more than that. So it's obviously good for him. And he's gotten very consistent with it. Now holding Moses at bay, but he's done a great job.
Hey man, if it's a weapon, you can hurt somebody with it. So just go out there and do damage.
Every time he drives by and I see the side of the car, I hear that Team America song in my head.
I mean, well, I mean, do you start singing the song when you start to see the side of the car? Because if you wait until the car drives all the way by, it's a very long car. You're going to be singing a while.
Both of these guys throwing it right into those curves.
Yeah. Although the M6 almost lost it.
I've considered driving the Merc myself. We see Chris Moses there in the Mercedes.
The first version of it in ACC, the older one.
And Chris Moses heading into the pits. There's no stop to clear there. He's already done that, so that's very curious.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing that anybody that's familiar with the AMG will tell you, it's a thirsty boy. So even with the Evo package, I think there's a lot of drivers that try to race that thing normally in map 1. But you're going to be stretching the tank out. That was definitely the case with the older platform. Like, you could not race a full race in map 1 with a full tank if you were doing anything even remotely competitive for longer than an hour. You had to race map 2.
Chris Moses head in and probably pick up fuel, but losing a lot of position.
Wilson Fernandez out on his own.
Just tooling along.
I mean, put in
his own race.
Ran a 42.2 last lap. I mean, it's a really, Kurtz ran a 42.4. I mean, he's fast. It's just not on the average. They're saying a drive-through penalty for car 36. Interesting. So that's why he went back through the pits.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can't. That's the one bad thing about this software is you cannot see penalties.
So I see, I just went scrolling through the log in Pit While Out Live, and I see a penalty cleared for car 36.
Okay.
Is that, now I just need to go.
Moses. Yep.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is.
I'm actually surprised we've only seen one DT.
Well, I was going to say, we had a lot, now granted 24 hours versus 90 minutes, but we had a lot of drive-throughs last weekend during that 24-hour race. There's a lot of places to cut here that the track's gonna, the stewards, the ACC stewards are gonna give you the spank if they feel they need to. And Keesar and Adam Thomas fight this one out right until the end.
And that Audi had to take the long way around. very Alta chicane. Good thing you didn't strike those sleeping policemen on the outside. That'll just send you into another world.
If you're in the Audi, will, that's for sure. Take a look at overall performance today for all the drivers, though. Just talking about what has been gained and lost. Again, if we jump up here to the top, our top three flat throughout today's race. A little bit of jockeying, but at the end of the day, Kurtz, McGee, and Fernandez walled 1, 2, and 3 and are going to stay 1, 2, and 3 for now. Scheffer and Garten, however, both up a position, losing. Christoph Art's losing out. Holgress up 2, getting ahead of Tom Foose and Will Green. Will Green currently sitting in 9th. Again, a very unlikely showing. Did lose himself at least one position today. Anderson's happy, right? I wouldn't say happy, but can't be too disappointed with a flat finish in the top 10. Look at Remco Ottens, though. We haven't talked about Remco throughout most of this race because he's been very quiet. We haven't seen a ton of battles. He's up 4 positions since the start of this today with 10 minutes now left to go. That's a great run for Ottens.
It is. It is a very good run. And in the top Maka right now, so Maka, one of those cars that really seemed to suffer with the most recent patch. But yeah, getting close to the top 10. 10
Absolutely.
seconds back. You know, there is time.
Well, still, even if he just holds on right now, Tobias Gable's a little over 6 seconds back. He's got plenty of time. He can drive his race. As you said, about 10 seconds back from Anthony Anderson. We'll see if he's able to close that gap up here in the last 10 minutes. Once again, Rob Keesar and Adam Thomas.
Yeah, that's the close fight right now.
We got to keep putting our eyes back here over and over. Thomas cutting it back right under that wing.
So Thomas had a rough go-round of it last lap trying to go through Variante Alta. Like you were saying before at the start of the stream, Audi does not like curb strikes that much.
No.
Thomas definitely experienced that. So we'll see how he handles it. I mean, Keesar just had a moment exiting Aqua Minerale, so they're on the way to the Variante Alta chicane.
And we'll see too, especially running this close this late, these guys are going to be putting pressure on each other. Never mind that, but coming down this hill into these corners, I've watched a lot of these Porsches dip tire into the gravel today.
Yeah, I feel like
keeping it on track, but there's been I've seen a lot of dirt flying as guys have come through there, especially it seems off the Porsches.
Yeah, I feel like so the Porsche's got the best brakes in ACC. You can brake later. The problem with Ravaza 1 going downhill is you're going downhill, and then the way the turn in is, it's almost off camber.
Yep.
So what you can definitely do if you outbrake yourself, maybe even lock up the fronts. You're gonna pay a visit to the kitty litter for sure, especially with the Porsche, because you've been telling yourself this whole time, I can brake later than anybody else.
You see there Thomas with a little warble coming out of the corner. That
Yeah.
Audi will cut loose on you if you're not careful.
That is a car that I have like zero experience driving in ACC. Never driven the Audi.
Cole Gress with a problem up front, though. Tom Foose getting up into 7th. Cole going to drop back a bit. Christoph Art's still only about a second off George Garten. We'll keep an eye up there, but right now the battle is right here between Rob Keesar and Adam Thomas.
I gotta wonder if Cole's got a little bit of damage. That car seemed like it was not happy going through the Villeneuve chicane. Like any part of it. Entry, mid-corner, exit. It was just like, I don't want to be here.
Rob having a great race so far. Again, up 2 positions today. Adam Thomas continuing to apply pressure, but not finding a gap quite yet. Now only 6.5 left to go. We'll see if he's going to start looking for one a little more aggressively. He's going to go way wide.
Now in this run down to
inside
turn
corner, and there he is. He's got the advantage coming into T1.
Yeah, Tamburello is definitely the place where the Audi can get the move done. The problem is he's taking the inside line. Although he cleared him pretty handedly. So.
That's pretty aggressive and very quick, right? He shot around him very fast coming out wide down the straight.
And see, this is what I was talking about. Because the line was so compromised into Tamburello, it's giving Keesar the opportunity to fight back in the Villeneuve chicane. And this is going to continue possibly all the way down to the Tosa hairpin. Now, this is where the Audi's really going to want to put the foot down and try and get some space because, again, the twisty bits of Imola definitely going to suit the Porsche much, much better than the Audi. The Audi's not a bad platform when it comes to aerodynamics, but the Porsche is just in a different class.
Yeah. Tobias Gable and Moses up here for P12 right now, going to run head-to-head. Moses looking for opportunity. He's got it on the outside. Not quite enough, though. And Keesar now gets losing position to John Gray. Wow. So Keesar definitely out of the running. No longer a battle back there. Oh, and Moses just went off into the dirt out of... Did you see that? Let's rewind that real quick. What kind of hardware failure possibly for Moses as he spun and just couldn't get it lined back up? But Tobias Gable now holding on. George Garten and Christoph Arts continue to battle. Looks like there may have been contact between the two of them at some point.
I think the AMG just did normal AMG things, like on downshift, under braking, like that car can step out on you, and trying to correct it. It's almost Porsche-like in its ability to throw you into the wall when you're trying to quote unquote correct what it's doing. The car is very Kimi Räikkönen about it. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, Cole Gress now into the pits.
The drive-through, yeah.
Is that a drive-through for Gress?
Yep.
Okay, so it's our second drive-through today. Isn't that Gress's second drive-through?
Nope. Green was the first.
Okay.
The first that I saw. I can actually scroll back.
Green didn't. You're not talking about Will Green.
Let me check real quick. Car 36.
36. Chris Moses. Sorry.
Chris Moses. Sorry. Yeah. So Chris Moses got the first one.
Okay.
And it looks like Cole got the second one.
Paul Gress now pulling another. Seeing those as our only two on the list today, though. Cole Gress, Chris Moses, each with drive-throughs. Again, George Garten trying to stay ahead of Christoph Arts for the next 3 minutes. $50 laps down. Amazing, a week ago, we were over 600 laps down.
Man, and that was an awesome broadcast you guys put together for the
I'm waiting for the next
24 hour.
But I'll tell you this, Sunday was rough. I got about 4 hours of sleep and then woke up again, and I just did not feel it all day long.
Yeah.
That'll happen when you're north of 40, though.
I just crossed that threshold myself.
There you go. Well, then I saw you in the chat, though. You're not a boomer. Don't lump us in with those people.
For me, it's more like when it comes to cell phone technology and using your thumbs to send messages and stuff like that. I have caveman thumbs. Yeah, I'm terrible with text messaging.
Yeah, you're Red Rider. Use voice to text, And then the phone just makes up whatever it wants, and everybody else just has to decipher what it is you're trying to say.
Yeah.
That's what Red does. Works out really well for him, actually.
I'm gonna have to learn that technique. Like
Yeah.
I like whenever I type a text message to anybody, oh man, Christoph Arts just had a moment out of Aqua Minerale. Almost lost the back end of the 42. He's pushing, trying to catch Garten.
He really
Man, he
wants
is
it.
going
Even
all
there,
over the
that
place.
was right. He bounced that curb.
Oh,
Just
man.
unbelievable. He took every inch of that curb.
He's trying. He is really trying to find the fastest way around Imola. That's not the fastest way around Imola.
Well, we can see it there. I mean, the gap is opened back up to well over a second now. Red Rider in the chat says, "Screw you guys." That's perfect. Fine. I wonder if he said it or typed it. That's the question you have to ask yourself.
He talked to text it.
Yeah, Red is 100% though on the comparison between the AMG and the Volkswagen. Like it is, the Volkswagen is a car with a mind of its own sometimes. And for the folks that don't know, I'm talking about the Porsche. It's just Red's got it right. It's a Beetle.
It's a Beetle.
It's all the same car.
Perfect. Adam Thomas now having lost time. John Gray, or Adam Thomas, I should say, getting ahead. John Gray closing the gap, though, very quickly. We'll see if Christoph Arts is able to close back in on George Garten. We'll keep an eye there as well. Our front runner, Yannick Kurtz, now 10.5 seconds over Lee King McGee up front. And Philip, as you said earlier, Wilson Fernandez just getting to drive his race. Now 14.8 back from McGee, but 9.7 ahead of Scheffer. Yeah. So really, he's looking to cruise. That is the timer for the race as we wait for the flags to start flying. Garten and Arts continue to run close. Arts closing in very tight. Maybe going to look to put a run together here on the last lap.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to have enough to get to the
he's
corner.
Looking for the shot though. Oh, he tried. Garten played some great defense coming into that corner. He knows that play. He's seen it before. The question is, can he hold it for the entire lap? Arts has closed it in very close.
Yeah, see, showing him the nose like that, though, in the Villeneuve chicane, that's fantastic if you think the guy's actually going to make a mistake, but he just robbed himself of so much time going to the Tosa hairpin.
And we see it there. I mean, last lap, though, I will say, Garten well off pace. This is where Arts was able to close it in a 143 flat to Arts' 142.2. So a little over 0.8 of a second, and there Arts throws it way wide.
Well, he hit the grass on the entry into Piratella, which probably just made. Oh man, the car is sliding. This is Tokyo Drifto.
He's done. That just opened it up. Kurt's now over 2 seconds back. We jump down here. Yannick Kurtz is your winner today at 90 minutes at Imola. Lee King McGee holding on to P2 as we watch Wilson Fernandez now come across the line. Justin Scheffer will take up P4 today.
That was such a commanding race.
Go back and check on Thomas and Gray, though, because Thomas and Gray going to pull it right down to the end here. Can't even watch this close up.
Yeah, I don't think.
Gray was looking for it, but just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, I don't think the straight line speed for the Porsche was going to see him close up. That was going to be a tough one.
Tom Foose, P7. Christoph Arts ends up in P6 today. As Will Green leads the charge. Now Anthony Anderson within a second and a half of Will Green. Anthony Anderson, P9. Remco Ottens and probably our overall. Let's take a look, but yeah, Remco Ottens today, probably I would have to say overall, like, had the best race, right? Other than Matt Comiskey, Dave Gregory, and Terrell Sainz Taylor down in the back all gained 6 positions, but Remco Ottens finishes in the top 10 after gaining 5 spots during today's race.
Man, I'm telling you, for me, my money's on like Sheffer for like a pretty decent recovery. Like early on in the race, ended up losing position to Garton, but like the pit stops played out, and then the pace just unlocked, and Sheffer was able to start to pull away.
Yeah, he did
so good recovery from him.
Gained 1 position on today's race, along with George Garton. Same thing, Garton able to pull in and get a full position out of it. So. But again, Remco Ottens, he can sit and do those donuts that you're seeing and watching them on your screen right now, because 5 position gains, qualified in 15th, ends up in the top 10. It's a really great run from him today. So
that is
good job from all the drivers. Philip, I want to thank you. Chief, I want to thank you for being here, both you guys. That was absolutely fantastic today. I'm going to jump out of the VC here in just a second, but I want to thank both you guys for being here. Don't forget, folks, we are back next week. Let's jump to that PC season bumper. We're back next week at the Hungaroring. Sprint racing, 2 20-minute races is what will be going on. A lot of the sprint races are so much fun because these guys just throw it down hard, really hard in those 20-minute races. It's ridiculous. But don't forget, Pro Class Champ this season, Next Level Racing. Thank you so much to them. That FGT Light racing seat, and Coach Dave Academy providing a car setup bundle to our silver class winner, and our most improved driver going to pull that track map bundle. Maybe Ottens will be one of them with that 5 position gain today.
That was impressive, especially for the Maka to be that performing around here, getting to the top 10, gaining 5 positions. That's a big deal.
Yeah, did huge. So again, I want to thank both of you good gentlemen for being here. Chief, Philip, you guys are awesome.
Thank you. It was a blast.
Like I said, we'll be back next week, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you keep it right here at Box 3 Motorsports.